Grace and peace to you guys. Welcome back to the Stand of the Truth podcast. I am your host, April Chapman. I saw this article come across my Facebook timeline and I said, you know what? I need to make a video about it. As you know, our southern and northern border, actually, but particularly our southern border is very, very porous. And if you also know, I am also from New York. And so I am used to and accustomed to living with immigrants from all different parts of the world. I absolutely believe that immigration is not a bad thing, right? I think that America is a melting pot and we've managed to become the great nation that we are because unlike other nations, we are just a nice little mix and hybrid of a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little some of this and a little some of that. The issue that I and many others who share conservative and biblical worldviews is that we have an issue with illegal immigration. That is the idea that any and everyone can simply pour into your country without being vetted, without having gone through the proper channels and just get to come in. And what they're doing is not only are they sapping and utilizing resources that should be used for citizens of this country. Not only that, though, but because these people are not being vetted, what's coming across the border with them is a lot of crime, sex trafficking crime, drug crime, illegal firearms, things of that nature. A lot of these people are not coming here with the best intentions. While I completely understand and actually support the idea of someone coming into this country, having not been born here, for a better opportunity, yes, that I support. Do I support any and everybody coming here without being vetted and us knowing who they are? Absolutely. We don't treat our personal homes that way. So why should we treat our borders any different? So I want to share this article with you because New York City Mayor Eric Adams wants to revoke sanctuary city status amid illegal alien invasion. I thought this was hilarious. I thought this was completely hilarious because when I tell you, not only does the aristocracy not have your best interests at heart, I am hypercritical of the left for this very reason, because the left is not interested in your well-being, nor do they care about you as a person. Now, we can make the same argument for those on the right as well, but particularly on the left, you can prove without a shadow of a doubt that these people do not care about you because they will campaign on whatever it is that they think they can campaign on to emotionally manipulate you into giving their vote, but they're not thinking about these policies and the implications for you, their constituents, what that means for you. The idea that you should even have a sanctuary city that's a come one and come all without thinking of how is that going to impact the people that actually live here? 2, do we even have the resources for that? 3, is our city already dealing with a crime problem? Do we already have enough resources to take care of the people that are already here? Democrats never think about that. All they care about is power and votes. And so they ran on the idea of our city's a sanctuary city and we just love everybody and you just come on in, and didn't give any thought to what that would mean to the people that they've been called to serve. So the article reads, and mind you, I will link the article, it's from the Gateway Pundit, that New York City Mayor Adams was finally given a dose of reality about what residents who live near the border have been going through for years. Adams says New York is at a breaking point due to the number of illegal immigrants who keep arriving in the city and needing services. Now, mind you, I have not lived in New York City in over 26, maybe even 27, no longer than that. I haven't lived in New York City since 1994. That is a very long time. I can tell you growing up that illegal immigration was a problem back then. It was nowhere near of a problem that it is now, but it was a problem back then because I remember when I lived in New York City, we would have to deal with, automobile accidents by illegals they don't have a license. We have no idea how they got access to a car, but our insurance rates would be through the roof because you've got all these undocumented people here that when they get into an accident, they run, right? So they run. Crime has always been an issue in New York City, and it was difficult to control because they would drain the city of resources. Okay, so here's the other thing that I wanted to say about how illegal immigration is harmful to actual citizens. My nieces just left here from New York City, and I asked them, I was like, is the illegal, immigration thing a problem? They were like, oh my gosh, yes. And I was like, well, tell me how. They're like, well, first of all, what happens is we've got all these people that are coming in that are illegal, undocumented, and they're taking all of the jobs. Like she was saying that in certain parts of the city, they are firing U.S. citizens, not firing them. Well, in essence, getting rid of them. And then they're rehiring the illegal immigrants and they're paying them less, typically under the books, avoiding taxes. Now, you tell me if that is not a problem. They're literally bringing in these people as a non-traceable, non-taxable labor force that is going to contribute to higher unemployment rates for people that are actually U.S. citizens, which is going to lead to more homelessness and more housing insecurity. How are we going to feed all of these people? How are we going to house all of these people? There are so many issues that this legal immigration problem creates that these darn Democrats who championed sanctuary cities, such as Mayor Adams, Lori Lightfoot, Muriel Bowser, all of these liberal mayors all campaigned on the same thing. And now that the migrants are here, they're like, well, we need some help. I am begging for some federal aid. And then when they don't get the federal aid, they're going to blame the federal government as if this is not their fault. No one told you to champion such an insane idea without thinking about it. These people have poor leadership skills. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to lead. All they know how to do is lie to get votes, to get power, become career politicians, amass amount of wealth, leave office, and then just leave destruction and mayhem in the dust right behind them. So I don't understand how Eric Adams could not use the sense that the good Lord gave him. And these are the people you keep voting as leaders over you. And I'm going to talk about Chicago in a little bit, but his issue is that they don't have the resources. Common sense should have told you that before you campaigned on the idea that New York City is just welcoming to everybody and we're a sanctuary city. Let me continue. On Wednesday night, Mayor Eric Adams issued an executive order. Now he wants to elicit executive order power, suspending the city's right to shelter rules, which require the city to quickly locate private rooms for asylum seekers. First of all of these people are not asylum seekers. You might say, well, April, there are people who are really fleeing their country because they are in harm's way. That might be true. There is a process. If you are seeking asylum, there's an actual process. All of these people are not seeking asylum. All of these people are not coming in good faith. A lot of these people are coming across the border with children who are not biologically theirs for the sole intent and purpose of sex trafficking these young people. They're smuggling drugs in. There are a whole lot of problems that come with these asylum seekers. Now, he goes, no asylum seeking family that has sought shelter from us over the last year has slept on the streets thanks to our colossal efforts. But without more support from our federal and state partners, we are concerned the worst may be yet to come, a spokesperson said in a statement. First of all, why do you need the federal government's help? This is not the federal The border, yes, is the federal government's problem. However, this is your city. If your state wasn't liberal and if you weren't so liberal minded and you actually cared about the people who lived there, you would say, listen, we love everybody, but we cannot house everybody. So therefore, no, you can't come to New York. And now you thought that you were going to gain brownie points by saying, do you see the boasting here? He literally says, we're thankful that no asylum seeking family has slept on the street thanks to our colossal effort. So what you want a brownie point? See, what you thought, you didn't think fat meat was greasy. You thought that you were just going to let a few people in, make sure they weren't sleeping on the streets, and that come election time, that you'd have all of these new voters supporting you because you didn't turn them away. But now look what you've done. You've created an unsafe environment for the people who actually voted and put you into office. You didn't think about them. You didn't think about the impact this was going to have on the people who voted for you and who actually pay taxes. These people don't pay taxes at all. There are no new tax centers generated from these illegal aliens coming into the country. And not only that, now you've got an increased crime problem. Adding Mayor Adams, with over 130 emergency sites and 8 humanitarian relief centers already opened, we have reached our limit. Oh, really? Are you sure? You sure you don't have room for some more? Because see, now it's actually impacting people. It was impacting people before. We've been telling you that, but you don't want to listen. Last week, we had to resort to temporary housing recent arrivals in gyms, in an effort to mitigate those risks and find room within our shelter system. Y'all don't even have room in your shelter system for the people that are legally, they live here, like they was born and raised here. New York has a serious homeless problem. So now you got an already existing homeless problem. Now you got to add to that an illegal homeless issue. So the city has temporarily suspended the policy surrounding timing for placements in shelters. This is not a decision taken lightly, and we will make every effort to get asylum seekers into shelters as quickly as possible, as we have done since day one. Now, according to a nonprofit foundation helping veterans, 20 homeless and struggling veterans have been evicted from upstate hotels to make rooms for the incoming illegal immigrants. So now our veterans, the ones who fought for this country, who basically sacrificed their lives for our freedom, are being kicked to the curb to house these people. How is that okay? How is that right? Also, a New York hotel abruptly canceled 30 rooms. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is my first time reading this, so I'm going to calm down. A New York hotel abruptly canceled 30 rooms booked for a wedding in order to make room for illegal aliens. I need y'all to process that for a minute. Can you imagine you and your soon spouse to be have planned in advance to get married in the Big Apple, which is not cheap. By the way, I used to produce bridal shows in the New York tri-state area. Booking a block of 30 rooms in a hotel in New York City is not cheap. You've got your guests. They're coming in from out of town, excited to see you and Jose tie the knot. I don't know. I'm just making up names. And now you come to find out that the block of 30 rooms that was set aside for your guests, for your big day, don't exist no more because they had to house illegal aliens. On Thursday, Adams went to court to ask a judge to reevaluate New York City's sanctuary city status in light of the influx of illegal immigrants. Did you think they weren't going to come? Did you not learn anything from what cities along our southern border and what Texas has been dealing with for years? Arizona has been dealing with for years. You didn't think that the problems that they have been complaining about, you didn't think that us building a wall actually was for a legitimate reason. You thought that this wasn't going to affect you. And now that it is literally on your front door, you now want to seek a court assistance, court intervention from a problem that you created yourself. These are the people, my friends, that you vote into office. And you vote not because of the policies, but you're stuck on stupid. You vote because they have a D behind their name, and you don't listen and examine with any sort of biblical discernment. What are the policies that these people are advocating for? And what are the implications of these policies if they get into office? They told you what they were going to do when they got into office, and they were too stupid to see, oh, wow, if I actually complete or make good on my campaign promise and actually let the illegals in, it's not going to be a problem. Do you think there's just infinite real estate and just an infinite supply of tax dollars and resources to house all these people? This is a dereliction of duty. This demonstrates that Mayor Adams doesn't have the ability to lead a city the size and prominence and magnitude of New York. But New Yorkers voted him in for a number of reasons. One, probably because he was Black. Two, because he was a Democrat. And three, because he appeared on the surface to be altruistic and welcoming and loving. And because God forbid, you can't just stand firm and flat-footed and just deal with reality, which is we can't have all this illegal immigration in our city because we don't have the resources to support it. So we are now in court now today asking a judge to revisit the law. He goes, the law of sanctuary city was placed long before I became mayor. Now, see how, when I tell you I can't stand the fact that they always are placing blame, shifting blame someone else. Now he's saying, which is not that it's wrong. It's the fact that he didn't campaign against the idea of a sanctuary city. He tried to use that as a political advantage to gain more votes. The law of sanctuary city was in place long before I became mayor. I'm following the law. You didn't try to appeal it. You didn't try to repeal it or say, no, I know this was in law, but now that I'm mayor, no, we're going to appeal. We're going to repeal this because it's a dumb law. It's an unwise law. It's harmful and hurtful to the residents of his city. He never campaigned on that. So now he is saying, as a law enforcement person, we follow the law. Unbelievable. He won't take ownership or responsibility for the fact that, yes, this was the law, but the moment I got into office, I already knew this was going to be a problem because we already know other cities that are dealing with this issue. He didn't do anything about it. He literally tried to house all of these people, not realizing that it was unsustainable. This is the picture of a person that's not that smart. So now he goes, we are now in court today asking a judge to revisit this law to deal with this humanitarian crisis. This is not a humanitarian crisis. This is an invasion. These people invaded this country because they were let in by the commander-in-chief who did nothing to stop them. Nothing. And then he goes, even when they decided to put in place that law, no one thought that they would be dealing with a humanitarian crisis of this proportion. So he's basically telling you, I'm not that smart. I didn't have the forward-thinking vision to see that when you tell illegal aliens to come on in, that this is a sanctuary city, that they weren't literally going to come on in. How long have you lived in New York City, Eric Adams? Your accent's pretty thick. So it sounds to me that you grew up there just like I did. How is it that I've been going since 1994 and I already knew that if you declare a city a sanctuary city, what's going to happen? Illegal immigration has always been a problem for New Yorkers. It's always been an issue that needed to be dealt with. For you to think that you could walk into this office and not do something ahead of the migration lets me know that you ain't that smart and that you don't really care about New Yorkers. you are incompetent to lead as a mayor. So at the end of the day, let me point out something else. In 2021, Eric Adams said that New York City would continue to be a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants under his watch. What changed, Eric Adams? What changed? These people are wicked, manipulative, power-hungry miscreants. And I'm not going to take that back. I mean that with all sincerity. Listen, if you live in New York City, if you haven't already gotten out, what's the plan? What you gonna do? What are you going to do? Being a nation of borders is a biblical concept. It is not unloving. It is not uncharitable to protect your people and to have national sovereignty. It is a biblical concept. There's also nothing wrong with allowing the stranger or the sojourner who wants to come and dwell within your borders. There's nothing wrong with that too. But we need to know, who are you? Where do you come from? And why are you here? And we need to be wise in making that decision and only allow the ones who are coming here with good intentions maybe they want to come and get an education. Maybe they've acquired a skill set somewhere else and they say, listen, I can add value to this nation. Here is why you should let me in. Those are the ones that we want coming here. Some of the most brilliant minds and business owners and entrepreneurs that come to this country are immigrants. We thank you. We appreciate the value that you've added to this country. But listen, this next election cycle, this needs to be the one campaign issue that makes or breaks the next local election. New Yorkers need to vote him out. And y'all need to honestly stop voting along party lines. Why? Because it's been clear that there's only one party who is interested in lawlessness. There's only one party that's actually interested in creating chaos and tearing down this country from the inside out. Now, there's another party, the Uniparty, right? They don't care about you either. This is why you need to forget the party and vote on the policy. You need to do your research, find out where these people stand, and plant your flag there. Forget these personalities and the charisma. Forget the ethnic partiality. I don't care what color you are. What are your policies? What are you going to do about immigration? What are you going to do about the economy? What's your view on jobs? What's your view on taxes? What is your view on energy? Do you support energy independence? Do you support school choice? These are just some of the things that for the Bible-believing Christian, you need to care about because it matters. So let me know. What do you think? Do you believe that New York City is getting exactly what they deserve because they overwhelmingly voted for Mayor Adams, who in 2021 campaigned on the fact that New York City would be a sanctuary city? How do you think that, you know what? It's okay to vote for people who don't have common sense and who couldn't see in the future that this was going to be a problem. Just vote them in anyway. Why? Because of feelings. We like them. Or if you're like, nope, I knew that he was a bad choice for the city and I would have never voted for him. But stupid is, stupid does. So New York and Chicago and all these other major cities, y'all are getting what you voted for because you keep voting on these intrinsic, these external values such as skin color and ethnicity, and do they identify as woke and of equality and inclusion. Keep voting along these stupid principles and see just how terrible it will be living under these people's leadership. You mark my word. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Grace and peace.